folks are coming in. Welcome, everyone. We'll give everyone a few minutes to get in. Good to see you, Andrew.
It is good to see you. We actually got to be in the same place at the same time last week. That was fun, even though
I
we live
know,
30 minutes away from each other.
I know. It's so funny. I do think that we see each other more when we travel for work, even though we're just
Right.
on opposite sides of the same city and attend the same church.
That is true. Yeah, different hours. Makes a big
Yeah,
difference.
yeah. And kids in different stages, therefore,
Yeah.
in different like wings of the church as well. But, yeah.
All right. So while everyone is coming in, I'll ask you just to kind of get things started here as we recap Summit. Bentonville was beautiful. We loved it. What were some of your favorite parts of Bentonville?
And while Andrew's asking me this, we would love to hear from y'all in
Yes.
the chat as well. So for me, I'm not a foodie by any means, but I love traveling to new cities and testing out the food and getting things that I can't get anywhere else. But one thing that was um, surprising and wonderful that I guess I probably would have known this if I had really done a whole lot of research on Bentonville before Janice and I traveled there the first time. Um, the art and the architecture in that area is just totally unexpected and really, really cool. So anybody that went to, in fact, I just want to ask everybody who was with us, did anybody get the chance to go to the Ledger building? It wasn't on our agenda, but it's this really cool building that is just off of the square in downtown Bentonville. And they have a bike path where you can ride your bike up to the top of the building. And it is so, so cool. So just let me know if you got to go do that. It's really cool. But what about you, Andrew?
Similar. The town square, I just thought was an absolute blast. We hung out down there for a little while. Got dinner at a great Mexican food restaurant, of which I cannot remember the name, but it was just right there next to the Walmart Museum. It was unbelievable. And then maybe my favorite thing that we did, I love ice cream. I'm an ice cream fiend, and right there at the Walmart Museum, I got like two big scoops of ice cream for $2.50. It was like stepping back in time. It was unbelievable. $2.50 for all that ice cream. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, I think we were standing out there with you and we saw this little boy that like the ice cream looked like it was about as big as him. And
It was about as big as he was. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, good. All right, I think that we have got several folks in now, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm Haley, and I oversee marketing here at Touchpoint, and
And I am Andrew, and I oversee consulting here at Touchpoint.
we're so glad to have you. And whether you were with us at Summit last week or if you couldn't make it, so this is just a recap of our time together. It is our favorite week of the whole year, and it just flew by like it always does. It goes by way too fast. So, on our agenda today, we are, yes, that Shannon, that Italian restaurant was amazing. So, we are going to be talking about our time at Cross Church. We're going to cover some highlights from the whole week. We have a quick team update to share, a Touchpoint team update to share with y'all. Andrew's also going to share some updates from the product side of things, and we'll talk about Summit 2026. Can you believe we're already talking about Summit 2026? Like we just got back and we're
That
already,
number doesn't even sound right,
I
doesn't
know,
it?
yeah.
Yeah.
And then we will leave some time for questions. So it looks like y'all have already found the chat. So enjoy, and that's a good place for doing exactly what you're doing, chatting. But if you have questions for me and Andrew, please put those in the Q&A tab, because that's where he and I will be looking for questions. Our host church. So this year we were at Cross Church, and what an incredible facility. So you already heard us talk about it was in Bentonville, Arkansas, so Northwest Arkansas, which by the way is just a beautiful part of the country. I mean, so incredible. And it, as we're going through the surveys that are coming in from folks who attended, um, the surveys will, I mean, the folks who are there are saying it as well, but the cross church team was just so hospitable, so welcoming, and they were incredible to partner with throughout this, you know,
Yeah.
the whole year plus that we planned Summit. So we appreciate them so much. And this is a view, and they're named Cross Church, and this is one of their campuses, one of their three campuses, in which you can see these crosses from the interstate as you're driving up.
And before you advance, Haley, everyone take a look at, but before we go to the next slide, right there on that screen, those windows there that are on the back of that, kind of make a mental note of those windows, and you'll see them again from the other side on our next slide here. So in the top left-hand corner, that is those windows. And so this is their sanctuary at this campus. And so as you're in there worshiping or attending the service, you're just looking out over that beautiful pond with those gorgeous crosses right out those windows. It is really something. It was an amazing building. The facility was just beautiful. In the top right hand corner of this screen, it looks like a big brown wall. And there is, I don't think, a camera that could really capture this, but it's a big brown wall. But when you get right up next to it, you discover it's the entire Bible written out on one wall from end to end. And it's just kind of incredible to see God's word all on one wall right there. You get up right next to it, and you can just make out the tiny font, the letters. It was really, really neat to see. In the bottom left-hand corner of this slide, you see this was the main gathering area where our main sessions were held, and we had some great worship, which we'll talk about in just one second. But that was sort of the layout of the week.
Thank you, Andrew. And just curious before we move on, does anyone else see a gray wall there, not a brown wall?
Say Brown. I'm still learning my colors, but we'll get that figured out.
um, all right. Okay.
So each morning of Summit, we always like to kick things off with morning worship. It just helps set the stage, I think, helps focus us and remember really why all of us do what it is that we do and point people back to Jesus, point people back to the cross. And so that's just always a great way to kick everything off. This year we had the Cross Church praise and worship team lead that for us, and they just knocked it out of the park. It was unbelievable. And man, I could have just done a week of just sort of listening to them, but we really, really enjoyed that. And so we're going to keep that going. Throughout the week, we also had our keynote speakers. This year, the keynote speakers were Ryan Blackwell there on the left and Tim Stevens on the right. Ryan spoke to us about Nehemiah. And Ryan, he is the executive pastor and teaching pastor at Cross Church. Did a fantastic job. He led us and spoke about Nehemiah and building. And then Tim, he is the CEO of an organization called Lead Smart, and Tim discussed leadership with us.
Mhm. And for the welcome dinner this year, we tried something a little bit different. So Matt from our team hosted trivia night, and it was a whole lot of fun. And after trivia night, Matt, sorry for that. And then after trivia, we also had some folks, which you can always count on Matt Hempel. So down here on the right, from Friendship Church, he's always going to come to Summit with some board games. And so we did have a few folks playing some board games. You can see Andrew and Becky joined in for Mountain Goats, which is a really fun game if you haven't played it. Matt Hempel introduced our team to that last year as well. But just a great night. Welcome dinner is always just so much fun to just be able to sit down, enjoy some food, and connect with our partners. And Wednesday night, we got the opportunity. So, y'all heard Andrew talk about the square. And so you can see it in this top left corner. That's the square. That's the first Walmart store. It was a five and dime store. And so they've turned it into a Walmart museum. And so here's Andrew and Luke Roller outside of the first Walmart store there on the square. And if you enjoy seeing all the toys and just nostalgia, all the things from your childhood. That was so neat to walk through and see, VHS tapes and all the things. And we also did Crystal Bridges, and it's a really neat, in which both of these are free, completely free museums, and incredible to walk through the architecture of Crystal Bridges. And then they also have the Frank Lloyd Wright House on property as well. And as you're walking around all their nature trails that they have on property, they also have really cool just statues and just art around. So you can see the spiders about to get them walking around out there. And it was just we lucked out with some really incredible weather as well, and so several of us took advantage of that. You can see at welcome dinner there were several people who got a frisbee and went outside and played frisbee. Several folks from the Touchpoint team, we got out and ran every morning. There were some folks that went on a mountain biking, which, if you didn't know, Bentonville is the mountain biking capital of the world. And we were originally supposed to go on this mountain biking excursion. And looking at this picture, I was like, I'm so glad that it didn't work out for us. I don't know that I would have survived with all of my bones intact. But heard that it was really incredible and just a whole lot of fun.
And on the personnel front, on the Touchpoint team update front, um, some bittersweet news. Mike Smith, many of you have worked with him and know him well. He retired from the team this year, and so we are happy for him in that regard. I will say, however, on the other side of it, Mike did receive some pretty tough health related news. And so, if you would just keep him in your prayers, that did end up expediting his retirement. I know Mike, if he had it his way, he'd be here, still head down, working with many of you. But we are, when we got this news, it was no brainer. It was Mike, that is health comes first, and so that's what he's doing, and he's focusing on that and getting better. But if you would like to send him a note, just a note of encouragement, let him know that you are praying for him. There is a QR code on this screen that you can scan, and that'll give you an opportunity to send him just a little message and let him know that you're praying for him. He did communicate that he has a pretty tough road ahead for the next few months, but Mike is tough, and we've been praying over him. So I think he will be just fine in that regard. On and then best up. So something new that we
Can I
did
add one
this
more
year.
thing,
Oh yeah,
Andrew? I know that it was said at Summit, but I think it's also just worth mentioning that Mike is in really good spirits right now too.
yeah.
So just so that everyone knows, and like you said, he was planning on retiring. This just, expedited it a little bit.
So something new that we did this year that we rolled out is best of. And by the way, if you didn't catch that QR code, it's on this slide as well if you need an extra second to grab that. But brand new, best of. And I want to say before we get into this, before we go on to the next slide, so these are the best of some of the features and some of the things that we've seen our church partners do that we know about. Okay, so we don't see everything that happens at every single church. A lot of these are kind of we catch on to them because support might have been working on a ticket and helping someone with something. The consulting team, we might have been on a call and just seen a church and do this and said, "Hey, that's really cool," And then some of you, which we love, actually reach out to us directly and say, "Hey, I did this. Maybe it'll help someone else. Maybe it'll help another church that is coming up against this same question. And so this is what we did. And so we compiled those, and we'll talk more about that in just a second. But for this year, for the best of, start with text messaging. So one of the best uses of text messaging that we saw in the last year was from Bellevue Baptist Church, which is actually Haley and I's home church, but I promise this is all above board. But what Bellevue does is they ask us at the beginning and end of each service to text the word on the screen there. It says Jesus, and that's if you want to speak with a pastor. But if you just want to let them know that you're there, you can text the word Sunday to 901 901, and that's going to do two things in the database. One, it's actually going to mark you present for that meeting. So we are recording attendance through that automatically. The other thing that it does is sends a reply to you to let you know, hey, thank you for coming to church, and here's some events that we have coming up. Here's some things to know about in the not too distant future. The next one is the login screen. All right. So this one went to the Orchard. They are one of our newer church partners. But you can see on their login screen, it might be a little bit jumpy just through the PowerPoint there, but it's quite smooth on their database. And that is a video that's playing behind their login screen, which is really cool. It's actually the same video that they have on their website. And so when you go from the website to the login screen, it's a nice cohesive experience. You know, you're in the right place. You know, you're still interacting with the Orchard. And so we thought that was a really, really cool use of the login screen.
I actually copied it for our
Yeah.
Summit database. Yeah, they did an excellent job.
Lovingly borrowed.
Yes.
On the next one, forms. This is to use kind of the technical touch point term. This is a shell that is applied to a form, and we thought that Second Pres, actually here in Memphis as well, we thought they did just a really, really great job of this. It does a great job of simultaneously communicating the brand, being consistent in their brand, but also just a beautiful screen that's easy to digest and get through. So kudos to them.
And next are giving pages. And this giving page is Highland Park United Methodist Churches. And just along the same lines of incorporating their brand into something that is a, you know, touch point page, they do an amazing job. So of course, a lot of churches make their giving page accessible on their website. And so as you can see here, they have customized just about every area possible on their giving page. And as we scroll to the bottom, you can see this footer is what is on the footer of their website. And so as a person is going to give, it seems completely seamless. There is no, you know, stark contrast between when the experience of when they were on their website and now moving to their giving page. It same colors, same branding, and like I said, same footer and header as well. So that, you know, continuation of the brand just instills trust in the person as they're doing something so important as giving.
Haley, I don't know if you're monitoring chat. Matt Glisson from HPMC just encouraged everyone to try that page out if you would like to just go ahead and submit that and see how it works. I think he would appreciate that.
Yes, I'm sure he would not mind the extra donation. um, so next up is the mobile app, and this one went to Hope Community Church in Raleigh, North Carolina. And you can tell when I was looking at their app, I was like, oh my gosh, all these wonderful pages. I can't decide which screenshot to use. And so I put them all up here for you to see. But I think they just do a wonderful job of carrying over their brand in all the places, you know, from the moment that you log in, and on this, you know, left-hand side, they've got clear instructions of how to use the app if this is your first time using it, and how to interact with it. You know, their giving pages, of course, they've got everything built out with their channels and events and all the media. So thought they just did a wonderful job. So just wanted to show y'all, you know, what it can look like once you have your app fully built out. And kudos to them. And for check-in, so if you haven't customized your check-in stations, just wanted to show off Cross Church. So this was of course our host church, and they do a wonderful job. This is in the children's area, but of course check-in stations can be customized per campus, per event, for different locations that you might have, and they just do a great job of incorporating their branding and the theme that they have there in the kids area, and making it more welcoming as the families with kids are coming up to check in for their classes. And next up is emails. And so we love the way that Rock Point has brought all of their branding into their emails. And this is a long newsletter that we're scrolling through here. But what's great is that it is easily digestible. So the way that they've got their banners in here, and clear call to actions in each section, and a little snippet, about whatever the event might be that they're talking about. So we just thought that they laid out this email very well, and like I said, incorporated all of their branding.
For best ticketing venue, we went with Bellevue Baptist Church again, and they have one of the bigger ticketing events that takes place in Touchpoint right now, and Haley and I can tell you it goes well. It really really handles it very smooth. So if you all have some big Christmas events coming up that you wonder if maybe the Touchpoint ticketing could handle that, it would be a really really good option. So this is their venue. As you can see, this is a reserved seating venue. So you can actually click on, for those of you that aren't familiar with how that works, you can actually click on individual seats within that venue to select which seat you would like to sit in for the event. The different colors might represent different pricing for around the venue, just have different price points. And so we thought they did a really nice job with that venue. Um, Next is Touchpoint Sites. And again, for any of you that aren't aware, one of our great partners is a company called Solertia that has a feature or a product called Touchpoint Sites that connects directly in to your Touchpoint database. And so First Baptist Rogers is one of our church partners that is using this feature, and they've done a really really nice job with it. It's very seamless from even the screen that you're looking at there. You can't really tell what is the website and what is Touchpoint, but there are elements of the screen that are being generated from Touchpoint. The events portion that's coming up on your screen right now, for example, that is being entirely generated from Touchpoint. And so we thought that they had done a really nice job on that, and we wanted to make sure to highlight that. Next, event calendar, Concord Dallas. So Concord Dallas, they've been a longtime friend to Touchpoint, and they have a calendar on their database, or excuse me, on their website. Sorry, on their website that is being populated by Touchpoint. It looks great when you drill into one of the events there on the screen. It gives you a little bit more information about that. That's what you're seeing kind of called out there on the right-hand side of the screen, and so they've done a really nice job there. And dashboards. All right, so best dashboard award. We thought First Baptist Hendersonville. They have a great team over there, and among them is a gentleman named Ben Swaby. If you don't know him, you should. You need to get into the Discord channel there and hear from him from time to time. He has just done an amazing job with their dashboard. Obviously, it looks great, but more than looking great, it's also passing really good information to the users that need the information, the staff, the executive team, that kind of thing. And so we thought that looked spectacular.
And as Andrew said, at the start of us talking about the best of awards, we may not be aware of, all of the things that are out there, and all of the incredible things that you're doing with your database. So please email us and let us know whether it's something that we talked about today, like if it was a check-in station or giving page or mobile app, or if it's something that we haven't covered. that you're really proud of and you would like to share with us, please let us know. So you can email marketing@touchpoint software and just share us your best of so that we can go check that out as well.
Yeah, and I know that kind of thing. You might feel. I'm going to say this here. I feel a little bit boastful doing this. Maybe it seems like I'm bragging. That's not it at all. We use this information. When we see something that a church is doing, a solution that they have put in place, a solution to a common problem. If you're finding that solution, then there's another church out there that can benefit from it. And so our team does look at that stuff, and then we take it in our conversations with other churches, and we say, hey, I want you to know what this church over here, how they came across that same issue. Here's how they were able to overcome that, and we can assist those churches. So anything that you're sending us, it just makes all of us better. It helps all of our church partners.
Yeah, absolutely. Every year at Summit, we recognize someone with the Founders Award. And so, for those of you who don't know, David Carroll is Touchpoint's founder. And you know, decided on a few different traits that were, important and that really described David. And so, it's his ingenuity, his the way that he created the product, but he also did continue to advance it, just a friend to partner churches. So as we're looking at our Founders Award recipient every year, we're looking for people that share those similar attributes. So we recognize someone. So and it's tough recognizing only one person every year, but someone for their ingenuity, for advancing the product, and for being a friend to Touchpoint. And y'all have already heard us say his name, and I believe I saw him chime in on the chat a few minutes ago. But this year's recipient is Ben Swaby. And so congratulations to Ben. And thank you so much for all that you do. From me personally talking to you, and I know from the other folks on the Touchpoint team, from us talking to you, we truly hear your heart behind this and all that you do to make Touchpoint better, and not just for First Baptist Hendersonville, but also if you're not on Discord, ask us how you can get on Discord, and we'll invite you on there. But Ben makes all of this available because, as Andrew just said, it makes us all better and all stronger. And so he puts all of the work that he's done out there, so that others can take advantage of it as well.
And it looks like Stephanie just posted the link, the Discord link there in the chat. So if anyone would like to grab that and join the conversation, I think it's well worth your time.
Yeah.
All right, so the week kind of wrapped up around product updates. So one of the big updates that you need to know about, if you weren't at Summit this year, is that we have shifted the way we're doing product to kind of a product team. That's how we're sort of shaping the product and shaping the roadmap as we move forward. This is the team. So the people on that team are, starting from the left, is Adam Ash. He is our head of development, so he leads all of our developers. Then myself, Eric, who is on our sales team. So we try to get good representation from each team. We got a little bit of consulting, we got support, we got sales, so that really everyone's voice is heard. And then on the right-hand side of the screen, Sarah, she is on our consulting team. Stacy is our business analyst, and then Will, he leads our support team. And so together we meet about every other week to discuss the roadmap, where we are, if any changes need to be made to that, and just kind of what we're hearing from our various sectors, our various sections of the company, consulting, sales, and then of course on the support side. So we at Summit, we brought the product team on stage. We talked about some of the things that we are most excited about with the product. So first up, quality of life and usability. So Adam talked a lot about how for years past, we have really had a heavy focus on getting really cool, innovative features into the product for our church partners to use. And we've been going very, very fast on that side of things. And so now we're entering kind of a phase where we want to take a step back, and Adam has called it our season of excellence. So we're in this season of excellence, and that's where all this quality of life and usability comes into play. We want to make sure that not only are the features there that you need to use, but that they are fun to use, and that they work as expected, and easy to digest, easy to learn. And so that's really where we are right now. And so that's what we are extremely excited about. It's the first thing that we're listing on the screen. And so you can expect a lot of just nice quality of life enhancements to come. Another thing that is already released, already in the system, if you are one of our church partners that is using Touchpoint Giving, we've released 3 new Touchpoint Giving reports. They should be under the finance menu. If you haven't seen them yet, take a look. Highly recommend them. Just really nice canned reports that prior you would need to use Search Builder typically to generate that information. Um, Another one that this is released, this is in the code base, and I think it flew under the radar a little bit, and that is a single sign-on for Outlook. So if your church is using Outlook for email and all that good stuff, then we do have a single sign-on integration there available for you to use. It is in the documentation, so if you just go to documentation and search single sign-on or SSO, you should get some documentation about how to set that up. Unlayer. All right, so unlayer, that might be a word that you're just not familiar with. You haven't heard that. If you haven't, that's okay. So unlayer is a plugin that's already in our system that we use for emails. So whenever you're building an email, one of your mobile responsive emails, we're utilizing a plugin called Unlayer, and there was some untapped potential in that. And then we brought on a new member of our team named Amanda, and she took that and she cleaned up a lot of the things that were maybe causing some friction in that editor, and then also was able to add some new features to those. And so that has made a world of difference to those of you that are building out a lot of emails. A very, very big project for us this year has been the new Rooms and Resources tool. Over on the right-hand side of your screen, you see a screenshot. Yes, your eyes do not deceive you. That is a calendar inside of Touchpoint. That's been something that we've been asked for quite some time. People want to see a calendar of events, and now that is being made available via Rooms and Resources. Rooms and Resources is getting very good reviews from our beta testers. The beta testers have done a wonderful job of uncovering some gaps and just some things that need to get cleaned up. And so we are coming to the end of the beta test period. And if you are interested in Rooms and Resources, we do have avenues. So kind of stay tuned for that. We have some ways for you to get signed up. Where it's going to be a relatively slow rollout because it does have some foundational changes to the system. One of those is schedules. So if you are someone that's thought like, man, schedules kind of confuses me. I don't really understand what the point of a schedule is. I just want to create some meetings. Well, boy, do I have good news for you. So schedules are kind of going away. We're shifting to more of this meeting type layout that you're used to seeing like in an Outlook calendar, a Google calendar. So you're really going to love that. Like I said, it is going to be a bit of a slow rollout. We want to make sure that we're doing it right and that there are no issues in the coming days and weeks. All right. So those are the things that are already either in the works or already released. So now some things that we are excited about as a team, as a product team. First on the list is sermon notes and media. So what you're seeing there on the right-hand side of your screen is mobile app 3.9, specifically the new sermon notes screen. So the screenshot on the left, that is the first screen that you'll see when you go to the sermon notes. You'll be able to see the upcoming sermon notes or sermons that the church has made available to you. So you can then drill into one of those. So if I tap on the word become flesh, that one there on the top, then that drills me into the sermon note itself, to the details where I see the information, and then I can take notes right there from the app during the service, and so that's all kind of in one place. And so that is going to be released with 3.9, which we should see in the coming weeks. All right, stock and crypto for those of you that are using Touchpoint Giving, we are going to make stock and crypto available to you. And all right, dashboard plugin system. I think this might be one of the ones of all the things I'm about to talk about. I think this is the one that I may be the most excited about. So one thing that we really want to focus on is the speed of that homepage. If you have a lot of widgets on that homepage, you've probably noticed it loads a little bit slowly. And so we are going to take that concept of widgets and turn them into what we're calling plugins so that you can choose what widgets, what plugins you'll see there on the homepage. It will load faster. That's going to be one of the priorities kind of in that project. But then another priority there is to greatly reduce the amount of code that you need to manipulate in order to have information there on your homepage that you would like to see. And so that's going to be something that's a real area of focus is, with widgets right now, if you want to make modifications, you kind of got to dig into some code a little bit. We don't care for that. We really want you to be able to do that all from within the UI. E-signature, this is something that has been requested many times. Of course, registrations already has a terms and conditions question type in it. But for those of you that would like maybe something just a little bit more binding, that is where e-signature could come in. And so we will have an integration to an e-signature service that you can then go sign up for and then pull back into Touchpoint so that people can, if they're going on a mission trip or camp and that kind of thing, we just need something a little bit more binding there on the registration process. Then we can have that available within the registration itself. All right, communications rewrite. This one actually got a pretty big cheer when we announced it at Summit. People seem to be pretty excited about this one, which makes me excited. So we're doing a bit of a communications rewrite in the system, which first of all is going to improve deliverability. We're always looking for ways to make deliverability better. Touchpoint already has fantastic deliverability within the industry, and so always kind of keeping an eye on that. But then on the other side of it, if for those of you that have your own SendGrid account, if your church has its own SendGrid account, we're going to allow churches to use their own SendGrid account, plug that in, so that currently, whenever someone receives an email from the system, it's coming from mailer@tpsdb.com. When this is done and you have that SendGrid account in place for yourself, it will come from whatever your URL would be. So just again, kind of helps with brand cohesiveness from that perspective. And then print server, it's been a minute since the print server has had some attention. It works well. It's getting the job done. But when it comes to technology, you get about 4, 5, 6 years beyond the release of a piece of technology, and it's dated a little bit. There are better ways to do things. It's always advancing, and so we're going to give a little attention to the print server and make sure that is just as good as it can be. Man, I forgot about this one. It just kind of keeps going, doesn't it? So for any of you that are using Protect My Ministry for your background checks, and you also have been using them for trainings, well, you've been a little bit out of luck on the training side of things when it comes to Touchpoint because we haven't had the integration, but that is coming. So we are committing to that, to making sure that you can integrate the Protect My Ministry trainings into the database as well, along with the background checks.
I think this is your last one, Andrew.
Okay. And then, allow pay later. I think people are pretty excited about this. Allow pay later. So when it comes to registrations, you can have an event that's free, you can have an event that's paid, but not really in between without doing a little bit of fancy footwork. And so we are going to add a true allow pay later option to the registration process so that people can very seamlessly indicate, yeah, I will pay later. And then you can have that noted. And then I believe that is the last on the list, but I actually thought of another one that is a small thing, but I'm very excited. So for those of you that are on the call that are admins, if you've ever gone to the settings page and been overwhelmed by the amount of settings that are on that page and don't know where to find things, we are adding a search to that page. So you can actually search for the setting that you're looking for, hallelujah. I spend a lot of time there by virtue of my job. I'm sure a lot of you have kind of sifted your way through that page as well. I think that is going to be a small but really great enhancement in the system.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Andrew. Yeah, these are all great. And you didn't say it, but I think it's fair to assume that these are all going to be ready by December 1st. Is that right?
If you want to run that by out of MASH, I did not bring my helmet to work today, so you're on your own on that one. And in case there was any confusion, that was a joke. Those will not be available December 1st.
All right. So another thing that we have come to do at Summit is announce the next year's Summit location. And so next year we are really excited to go back to Dallas. And so we haven't been to Dallas since 2019. And yeah, we're going to be at First Baptist Dallas, so right downtown. And as you can tell from these, well, one of them's a rendering, but photographs, renderings. It's really a beautiful facility. They have ample space for us, and so yeah, we're going to be at First Dallas. And one other very important thing that I want to go ahead and mention is that our date for next year is in August instead of September. And so we're going to move Summit up. We're just testing it. We're moving Summit up 2 weeks. And the reason for that is because we've heard from several of our partner churches that September is extremely busy with, programming starting back and just all the events starting back up. So we've been asked to try September, and so we're going to give it a shot, and or try August rather, and so we're going to give it a shot. So Summit registration is not yet open. There are a few details that we're still working on, but we will have that open definitely in Q4. So more communication will be coming about that just, in the coming weeks or, the latest couple of months. All right. And I have too many windows open. Let me just hop over and see if we've got anything in the chat or in the Q&A rather.
We do have a few questions coming in. One question, will sermon notes move over from 2.0 app to 3.0? The honest answer to that is I don't know. I'm not sure. So we can look into that, and then Michelle, we can let you know what we found out on that one. Let's see here.
Any other questions for us? Well, we certainly appreciate everyone joining us. We know this takes time out of your day. And for those of you who weren't able to be with us in Arkansas, we do hope that you will be able to join us in Dallas. And let's see, there is one question here about scheduler involvements being in the app. Is that something that we might need to look into, Andrew?
It's a question that honestly requires more context. So a scheduler involvement can absolutely become a directory. And so if you wanted to be a directory, that's available right now. I believe the context of this question is probably, can someone go back and manage their commitments? Here's the way that I would do that if we have, I know we're coming up against time. Here's how I would do that. I might make that a banner that is tied to a status flag that is specific to the individuals in that involvement. And then when they tap on that banner, they would be taken to that page, already logged in, and then from there they can manage their commitments. And so that's probably how I'd go about that today.
So breakout session notes from Summit, that is one of the things that we are working on. So we do plan on we've received some notes from the presenters and some of the outlines. And so as soon as we are able to, we're still doing a lot of follow up from Summit. So as soon as we're able to, we will get those in the mobile app.
Okay. All right. The question section is empty and we are at time. So thank you all so much for being here today. For those of you that were able to attend, it was just wonderful being with everybody. That's one of our favorite things. Like Haley said at the top, one of our favorite things to do is to be with all of you. And for those of you that weren't able to make it this year, so sorry that you missed. We hope to see you next year, but we thank you again for being here for the recap.
All right. Thank you, everyone. See y'all soon.
Bye.